Hey there, I thought I'd do a little more of a lighthearted video today, and I was inspired by some of my other favorite advocates who have done these cool reaction videos, and I know they're one of my favorite things to watch. So today we are going to react to schizophrenia memes. For the sake of having a true, pure, honest reaction, I picked out these memes a while ago, about a couple weeks ago, so that I would forget what they were and have an honest response. And so I will kind of remember them, but I promise you it will be just as new to me as if I'd never seen it, because I have poor memory as a result of psychosis. So I'm all ready to go with my tablets, and let's jump into some memes. Oh God, this one is good. This is so accurate because it literally takes over your entire life. Let's say you had a job interview, but you went psychotic. You're not getting that job. You're getting married and you go psychotic. Bye-bye wedding. Like, it literally stops your entire life. And for however long the episode lasts, you are captive to your illness. Like, it completely overhauls everything and your life is put on hold. Honestly, it is like being kidnapped by your brain. I just can't stress enough how much your life gets completely overhauled. I could not think of a better image of how it completely takes over your life than this pirate taking over a ship. That is pretty spot on. Your delusions after hearing someone else's delusions. Write that down, write that down. Yeah, oh my God. I have had shared delusional disorder, which is folie à deux, and it is essentially when two or more people share a delusion. There's generally one person who has the initial delusion, and it is kind of imposed onto a recipient. And so I've been there, buddy. I know, like, I have been a god alongside another god. We were both gods and we had all these godly powers, and it was like a whole thing. In reality, I don't know who it came from first, but we shared a delusion. Another thing I want to note is that delusions basically come from a lot of the things around you. There are organic delusions, I guess you could say, that are based on actual delusional content, like specific content that is general to most people with schizophrenia. So there's totally delusions that people just have in common, like alien abductions and stuff like that. But then there are the delusions that come from the TV shows you watch and the conversations you overhear in the grocery store. And pretty much anything can become a delusion, especially when you get referential delusions, which are delusions that are picking up messages from benign things that make sense to you, that are directed at you. Just about anything can be a delusion. What if people with schizophrenia are hearing and seeing a different dimension, and the drugs we give them are cutting them off from it? Give me more drugs! Dude, do not go into that dimension. If you had a choice, you would lock the door to that dimension. Do not go anywhere near that dimension. Like, please. Drug me up, sedate me. I don't care what you give me. I've been through all the side effects. I know what it's like. I've gained the poundage. I've had the tardive dyskinesia, and I would take all of that over psychosis any day. Give me more drugs because I want the hell out of this dimension. Like, it's not a good thing. It's not a spiritual gift like people think it is. You don't want this. It's not at all a fun time. It's pretty much the worst experience I've ever had in my life. So yeah, maybe it's a door to a dimension, but please give me the drugs. I choose the drugs. I would rather have the drugs. Having schizophrenia. What society thinks I'm like with my family. Where society thinks I spend most of my days. What society thinks I'm like in general. This is DID or MPD. What I'm really like with my family, where I really spend most of my days, and what I'm really like in general. I gotta say, I think that last one's like the least accurate. Chilling on a beach, totally relaxed and zenned out. Nah, no way. I mean, me today, I still have mental health issues. I have PTSD from psychosis, so I don't think I'll ever reach that level of chill. I have issues with medication. Like, I do have to have them adjusted from time to time. The longest I've ever gone stable on meds was about a year before I had to have them adjusted all over again. So that zen is not really a thing. But yeah, like how I am with my family, I would say that's pretty accurate. You know, when I was going through it, my family was very supportive and they helped me a lot. And a lot of it was just hanging out with me, keeping me safe, keeping an eye on me, helping me with chores, all of the things I couldn't do. That one is very true. The DID one is totally false. I take back what I said about the Zenned out one on the beach. The DID one is such a huge misconception that schizophrenia is the same thing as having multiple personalities, which we now understand are more like alters. Now, this, I guess, comes from the concept of talking to yourself. I prefer talking to hallucinations. You're not talking to yourself. You're generally talking to something you believe is real, but you're not talking to yourself if you have DID either, because someone is fronting. Like if you're talking to each other at all, it's not happening out loud. It's happening in the inner world. And then the obligatory straitjacket and serial killer hyped up myths. Let's just stay away from those altogether. I don't always take my schizophrenia meds, but when I do, we all do. Again, this is the DID thing, the dissociative identity disorder thing, that is completely different. They are two completely different conditions with completely different origins. I gotta say, the only thing I can think of that makes people think they're the same is the talking. And again, you're not talking to yourself. Even if you're psychotic, people think you're talking to yourself, but it's not like, oh, Carolyn, this day is going really weird. I don't know why I keep seeing frogs falling from the sky. What do you think, Carolyn? No, I'm probably talking to the frogs. I'm not talking to myself, and neither are they. The main symptom of schizophrenia is thinking you don't have it. Well, I don't know what good that would do telling someone that if they really don't think they have it. I know people have tried to tell me, like, no, Carolyn, you're not demonically possessed, you're just psychotic, as if that would comfort me. And I'd think to myself, well, that sounds better. I'd rather be psychotic. I wish I could believe you, but that's not true. I'm demonically possessed. Like, this sucks. There's no getting through to a person in that state. It's called anosognosia. It is not the main symptom of psychosis, and not everyone has it. But anosognosia is an inability to like have insight of your mental state. So you don't know what's going on. You don't understand that anything has changed. But again, not everyone has it. There are people who have insight, who can have all the other symptoms and know full well that they're psychotic. Found an antipsychotic that works. The side effects are unbearable. I'd be crying with her, honestly. Like, that is so sad. It's true. It's really true. I've been on so many medications over the course of my life, and I've taken them for many different conditions. I've had narcolepsy medications that were amphetamines. I have a narcolepsy medication right now that is a DNRI, which is essentially like an antihistamine. I've been on antidepressants. I've been on anxiety meds. I've been on mood stabilizers, but I gotta say, the antipsychotics knock me on my ass. There is not a single one that doesn't have side effects, and they're always shitty. You know, I don't think I've had side effects from any other medication, maybe like appetite suppressant from Adderall, but yeah, I've had the weight gain where you gain like 60 pounds in 3 months. I've had the tardive dyskinesia where your motor functions go out of control. I've had lactation. Yeah, I'd be crying with her too. People during quarantine gets lonely. People with schizophrenia, hey there demons, it's me, ya boy. Nah, yeah, that, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's because I'm not lonely anymore. I would say because like the severity of a global pandemic barely holds a candle to the severity of psychosis. So you have a lot bigger issues going on than a global pandemic, let me tell you. The things going on in my head during quarantine were much crazier than the lockdown. You know, I came out of psychosis at the beginning of the pandemic and my life got a lot easier. Everything calmed down. Everything was less stressful. My life got more manageable. I felt calmer. I was happier. I had less anxiety, and the rest of the population of the world was like going to shit, and they're all freaking out and they're losing their minds. And I'm like, whew, Finally, I feel so much better. Yeah, that's probably why I'd say that's accurate. Motherhood-induced schizophrenia, thinking you hear a baby cry when in reality all is quiet. Okay, so the thing about that is that it's true. And I know it's trying to be funny for a different reason, because it's poking fun at that like sixth sense that mothers have. And it's like that phantom sensation, you know, where like you think your phone has vibrated in your pocket and it hasn't. Those kind of things are real. But what's also real is actually hearing your baby cry when there's no baby crying. So this meme didn't realize it, but it was getting at a real thing, which is postpartum psychosis. And that is a psychotic episode induced by childbirth. There are a lot of different causes for psychosis, and childbirth, unfortunately, is one of them. And a lot of people don't know that until it happens. Now, with postpartum psychosis, you would easily hear the sound of your baby crying when it's not crying, as well as the voice of God or people screaming in hell. So it is full-blown psychosis. It is a real thing. It's not the same as this meme is making it out to be, but I'm remembering that I picked it out for that reason. 10-year-old me is in gifted class, reads at a high school level, is pretty good at math, has a bright future, schizophrenia. I'm about to end this man's whole career. That happened to me too. I'm fairly intelligent. I'm not saying that to boast. I'm just saying that because it's true. And I was a mediocre student, not because I was bad in school. I just didn't try. I didn't apply myself. I didn't care. But psychosis completely derailed all of that. Like, even if I had been performing very, very well, it would not have prepared me for the downfall. I actually stopped going to school, which is related to negative symptoms of psychosis, avolition being a negative symptom in which you do not have the drive to do anything, and that includes going to school. So my grades plummeted. I ended up with a 1.0 GPA. If you're not in America, it's on a scale of 1 to 4, and 1 is abysmal. So yeah, it absolutely affected that. It affected my ability to work. I try to work. I don't do very well because my symptoms tend to get in the way. So that's unfortunately something all too relatable to me. Started new antipsychotic. No weight gain. Oh, victory. Hell yeah, that is sick. It's always a gamble. You never know what you're gonna get with medication. You never know which one is going to work, which one is going to give you side effects, which one is going to work but give you side effects, and you have to weigh the pros and cons of staying on it. Medication is a really terrible game of roulette, and most of the time people have horrible side effects. My experience with side effects has been varied, and it took several tries on different medication to finally find one with the least severe side effects. So I think the only real side effect I have for my medication right now is that it makes me very thirsty, and that's kind of about it. I lucked out in that I finally did find the correct formula that doesn't affect my body in a terrifying way, but it took 10 years to get there. My psychiatrist said I'm schizophrenic because I believe that I am Jesus. Therefore, I posit that Jesus was schizophrenic. That was actually a really cool delusion. I don't know if I'd say it was cool. That's kind of a weird thing to say about a symptom that's horrifying, but it was one of the least horrifying symptoms. It was very stressful. I believed I was Jesus, and I felt an immense burden to save humanity, and I was not up for that. I was very reluctant in my role as savior, and I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to be a public figure, and yeah, it was stressful. I cannot even stress enough how stressful it was. So it's not all peaches and gravy being Jesus. It's not fun. It's not the great experience you'd think it would be. Being a god isn't a great experience either. It's stressful. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of responsibility. I did not sign up for that. But the reason I say it's cool is because in hindsight, there were some funny aspects about my version of Jesus. For instance, in the Bible, Jesus amassed followers. I took that a little too literally, and I believed that as Jesus, it was my role to amass followers in the form of Instagram followers. So I did actually try to get followers as Jesus Christ. And I spent a lot of time posting really weird stuff on social media with very cryptic captions, trying to get the followers to follow me, the Son of God. Also, my version of Jesus had a catchphrase, and this is something that I said all the time, and I would just say, just let a chill dude be a chill dude. I guess that encompasses exactly how I felt in my role as Jesus Christ. Stay awake for 2 days straight. Smoke weed. Forget to take my medication. Why am I being persecuted by the devil? That is like literally the combination for me. I swear. I don't know about 2 days of sleep because I have narcolepsy, but for me, sleep deprivation looks a little bit different. If I go a week of sleeping maybe 4 or 5 hours each night, I will get pretty loopy. And medication, going off of my medication is a serious problem. Historically in the past, I would go off of my medication and within a week or two, I would be psychotic. It does not take long for me. And weed is the killer. Like, weed is the one thing more than anything that has made me go psychotic because I wouldn't give it up. Like, I refuse to quit smoking weed even though I know I'd go psychotic. So that was a big problem for me, and all of these are a recipe for disaster. Schizophrenia has positive symptoms. Positive doesn't mean good. Well, this is actually a very confusing concept for a lot of people. I do think that a lot of people get it misconstrued because of the verbiage. Now, positive and negative aren't really like good and bad in this situation. Positive symptoms are an addition and negative symptoms are a subtraction. So with positive symptoms, you have things that are added to reality. You are in reality, you are present in the world with everyone else, but you also have the addition of voices, for instance, or you have the addition of smelling sulfur. Those would be hallucinations. Now, with the negative symptoms, you lose your drive, you lose your pleasure, you lose your ability to speak, you lose parts of your reality that used to be there. So I can easily see how it would seem very positive to hear that there are positive symptoms. Obviously, you'd want one good thing to come out of this, right? It's not always a hellscape of terror, right? No, it pretty much always is. I know some people who do have good experiences in psychotic episodes, but they are few and far between. Most people have a terrible time. What if I told you the vast majority of people with schizophrenia aren't dangerous? I love this. I saved this for last because this is a topic I care a lot about, and I actually study a lot about violence and schizophrenia. I study a lot about the insanity defense, which is the not guilty by reason of insanity plea in court. So I don't know as much as I'd like to, but I know enough to know that violence and schizophrenia are very, very rare. These are not common occurrences. Actually, statistically, it's proven that people who do not have mental illness are equally likely to commit violent acts as people with mental illness. And that doesn't even, it's not exclusive to schizophrenia. That's the population of people with mental illness. So it's not common, it's very rare, and it's perpetuated by the media circus. In instances where you have violent crimes that are taken to trial, that makes it a hell of a lot worse. So I will actually be going into that in a future series about the insanity defense, and I'm working a lot on that right now, which is why I care so much. I care so much because even in the case where there is violence, it is misunderstood, it is misrepresented, and these people are not inherently violent. They fall under circumstances where they are failed by the system. Their acts could have been prevented, and they did not get the preventative care that they needed. And they are in a situation where they usually have good intentions, thinking that they're saving a person when in fact something tragic happens. So it's not at all what people think. I've said a lot about that, so I think I should wrap up. So that was a pretty fun video. I hope you had fun too. I just wanted to jump on the bandwagon with this because I really admire the other advocates in this community, and I feel so honored to be a part of this community where people spread just great education and awareness about a subject that is very near and dear to me. I kind of stumbled into advocacy unwittingly because I was making videos on TikTok kind of venting about my mental illness, and they blew up. It was something I fell into really more than anything, and now that I've got a voice with this, I guess you could say, I try to use it responsibly, and I try to find ways of getting through to people and making this education accessible, which is why I thought it would be fun to do a video like this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I truly appreciate it. If you'd like to support my channel, please like and subscribe. And if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation today, please throw me a comment. I would love to hear from you. I've had a lot of new subscribers recently, and as a very, very, very small channel, that is very encouraging to me. I really appreciate everyone coming to my channel and helping me grow. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of all I have for today. So stick around in the future if you want to see more videos. I come out with new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.